Want candy? Want candy now?
What is going on, everybody? Nazdarachi back again with yet another episode of Relic Review for you guys. Today we have some interesting news about upcoming updates. Now, from Reddit and FFRK Central, we've found out that starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time on the 20th of this month will be the Summer Festival 2017. So we will get Orb Fest, which is going to be pretty similar to the last Orb Fest we got, where throughout the week for a couple of days there'll be dungeons open with varying difficulties to get varying qualities of orbs. The harder the difficulty, the better orbs you get. So that is fairly standard unless they throw a curveball in there. There's nothing really new or crazy to expect there. But we are also getting another very interesting update, which I'm about to cover for you guys really quickly here. Starting at the same time on the same day, the Mired in Crisis Oblivion Call event is going to start. So what this is basically going to entail is each day there will be a new boss fight. So kind of like a boss rush mode per day. Very interesting. There's going to be 2 difficulties for each boss. The easier difficulties you should be able to clear with an OSB or 2. And the harder difficulties are actually going to be either Ultimate, Ultimate Plus, or Apocalypse difficulty. And the very last battle will culminate versus Sephiroth, who will have a 220 multiplayer variant to go along with it as well. So, on the first day of the Mired in Crisis event, we are getting the 01 Highway Dash, the Ultima Weapon Final Fantasy VIII variant. He's going to have a 12 stamina battle and a 1 stamina ultimate difficulty battle. The second day, we're getting 02 Highway Dash, the King from Final Fantasy XIII. This is going to be versus Barthandulus. He's going to have a 12 stamina battle and a 1 stamina ultimate plus difficulty battle. The third day, we have the 03 Highway Dash, the Malicious from Final Fantasy IV. This is going to be Garon, who I'm assuming is an After Years boss. You're going to have a 12 stamina battle and a 1 stamina ultimate plus battle. Then on the following day, you will have the Honorable from Final Fantasy V. That's going to be Gilgamesh. He's going to have a 12 stamina battle and a 1 stamina Apocalypse difficulty battle. The next day, we'll have the Maw of Despair, Chaos from Final Fantasy I. The boss is Chaos. It's going to be 12 stamina and the second battle 1 stamina ultimate plus. Then we are going to have the Maw of Despair, Strife from Final Fantasy VI. This is just a fiend, so I'm not sure exactly which boss it is, but it's going to be 12 stamina and then 1 stamina ultimate plus. And then we're going to have Maw of Despair Truth from Final Fantasy X. This is going to be a Jekt variant boss. He's going to be a 12 stamina and 1 stamina Apocalypse difficulty. And on the final day, there will be the Sephiroth battle, who will be a only 1 stamina Apocalypse plus difficulty. This is going to be a special time attack battle with a timer in the right corner, and the best times are going to be posted to a leaderboard, which hopefully will not be infested with all hackers. Pretty awesome! It's going to have a nice little boss rush feel to it, and I'm going to enjoy taking out those. Give me some extra to do and film every day, so yay for content during Summerfest 2017. It should be fun for all of us who enjoy this game. So with that being said, we can dive into the main body of this episode, which is going to be the Banner 2 for the Spark Before the Fire event. This is going to feature a lot of good relics and returning relics for Beatrix, as well as we get an LMR for Vivi, which is probably the standout one of the two in my opinion, and a couple other things here and there for Eco and Garnet and Kino. So let's go ahead and check out the banner here. Our first item is going to be a returning Overstrike. It is Beatrix's Ultima Blade, which gives her the Psychic Climb hazard. 169 attack, no other stats, and like a whole lot of other holy swords in this game, you do get the constant small boost to holy damage, which is honestly preferred to a lot of the synergy required stuff we were seeing on the first banner. So the Overstrike is again Psychic Climb hazard. Deal a massive physical holy and non-elemental attack to one target. Deals more damage for each knight ability the user has activated. Can break the damage cap. This is going to be, in my opinion, a little bit better than Steiner's OSB, and overall I think that Beatrix is a better character than Steiner. You know, call me crazy, but that's just my personal opinion. Although Steiner's animation on his OSB is really freaking cool. Anyway, that aside, this OSB does have a scaling multiplier for Knight abilities, which will stack with her BSB commands, making it quite the useful multiplier there. Again, it does have only physical, holy, and on elemental, so it loses that cool tri-elemental effect that Steiner's has. But you do get the scaling multiplier. I think this is the better banner and the better OSB to draw on. Unless you really want stuff for Vivi or Zidane potentially, then you probably want to go for banner 1. It's looking like you have about a 1.69% chance to pull this OSB here. So that is actually relatively high for an OSB, but that is subject to change, and it probably will drop a little bit because some of this data mine information that's coming out is quite fresh. So ultimately I expect maybe 1%, a little bit over 1% for this one, but seems like a powerful banner if you want Beatrix stuff. This could sway a draw maybe from some of you guys. Next up, we have Beatrix's BSB. This is the Lightbringer Sword, 128 attack, and again a small boost to holy damage. And as well, this does have 68 mind on it. I didn't want to forget that. So your burst soul break is the Knight Protector. Deal 4 physical holy attacks to all targets, temporarily lower their holy resistance, and grant haste burst mode to the user. Will deal more damage if no allies are KO'd. So it's not a crazy awesome entry by itself, but it will stack amazingly well on a Knight/holy themed team. And as well, it's going to complement her multiplier into her OSB. So this is a very good combo you will set up here. Unlike Steiner and his LMR and his OSB with no multiplier, she does have a lot more synergy going on between her relics here. Again, in my opinion, making her a more powerful character. Burst abilities: Bulwark Blade, 2 physical holy attacks to 1 target, temporarily raise the user's defense a very large amount, and attract single target physical and black magic attacks. So you can set her up to draw fire here. That is very good if she's playing the Knight on your team for Sid mission, for example. You get a powerhouse character like her. Now, the only downside of this ability is covered by the second command here, Sworn Blade. 2 physical attacks to 1 target, so you lose holy. Temporarily raise the user's resistance a moderate amount. This is the effect that's kind of missing on the burst command 1 here, since black magic attacks will be diverting her way also. You probably will want this resistance buff going on her as well. That will definitely help solidify and bolster her defenses here. And both of these commands being Knight abilities means they will both contribute into her OSB again, making her nice and functional here. Unfortunately, there is a low attack count on everything going on in this BSB. The entry is only 4, and then 2 and 2 on the burst commands, but you do get the Imperil Holy, so it will still see good use in Sid missioning and on a holy themed team, and as well if you're bringing her to be the tank. Again, I like Beatrix. I think it's a pretty nice setup she's got going on, and she synergizes with herself very well. Seems like about a 0.85% chance to pull the Lightbringer here, so even significantly less than the OSB on this one. Next up here, we got a robe, the Q Garb for Kina. Small boost to water damage at all times. So we're going 3 for 3 here on good bonus effects. You got a robe, 17 attack, 91 defense, 139 resistance, and no other stats. And the Burst Soul Break Pumpkinhead. Deal 5 range physical attacks to random targets and temporarily full break them a large amount. Haste and burst mode to the user. So the 5 attack count can be troublesome if you're facing a lot of enemies. There is a potential that you can miss a target, which means you miss the break. But if you're going in a single target situation, you know, you're guaranteed to get the effect. So it just really depends. As long as RNG is in your favor on the entry effect here, it actually is rather good. Now, you're not going to want to full break on top of this and overwrite it. So if you're bringing Kina, just remember not to bring a full break. And if you do bring one, make sure you time it well so you don't overwrite your own effects here. Burst abilities: Consuming Power. Deal physical damage to 1 target and temporarily lowers attack and defense a small amount. And Cuisine Magic, deal physical damage to 1 target and temporarily lower its magic and resistance a small amount. So each burst command is going to be favorable in a magic or physical based dungeon. Unless you're in a hybrid situation, then you can just kind of spam them both. Unfortunately, it's only 1 hit and physical damage, so it is a hard support item. Do not expect a lot of damage coming from Kina here. But since I'm chilling in her tongue, and since she gets a boost to water damage, and just for the nice breaking effects, we we do consider this to be a reasonably good support BSB here. Again, just remember that she's coming in as a hard support character, so don't expect a terrific load of damage from this. It is quite interesting that it has a small boost to water damage, because that doesn't really play into this soul break at all here. So you're going to have to team build and equip properly to maximize the usefulness of that effect there. It seems like you have about a 2.12% chance to draw this relic at the current time. Remember that all these numbers are subject to change as the banner's been out for longer and more people make pulls. Next up, we have the BSB2 for Garnet here, the Staff of Ramuh. In my opinion, this is better than the BSB on her dagger, but the BSB1 dagger with the plus lightning and hybrid stats does make it an excellent relic itself. The BSB attached to it, honestly not as good as the dagger itself, and we are making up for that here with her second BSB. So you do have the staff, 55 attack, 132 magic, and 105 mind. You get a small boost to lightning damage. So again, we're going strong on this banner. Everything is going to synergize with every realm for the bonus effects so far, and that's awesome. I'm very happy they're making good on that, because the first banner's synergy effects were pretty weak. Burst Soul Break Trial by Lightning. Temporarily raise the attack and magic of all allies in moderate amount. Lower the resistance of all targets to lightning, and grant haste burst mode to the user. Very good effect for Garnet. Very good synergy and Sid mission relic. Now you won't want to bring this with Onion Knight, because those buffs are not going to stack together. And this one instead will fit in quite nicely to a lightning themed team to replace that effect. Or again, for your Sid mission, you won't need the Roaming Warrior Onion Knight if you have this BSB here. Pretty good on entry effect. Unfortunately, it doesn't do any damage whatsoever, but you do get the Imperil Lightning on your enemies. So really most useful in a boss fights only. It's not going to help you out too much for clearing trash mobs. Maybe in Torment, maybe. So your first burst command here, Summon Ramuh. It's very similar to Golbez's BSB and Yuna's BSB, Tenets of the Faith, where you're going to want to get the Summon Strike mark. So restore a moderate amount of HP to one ally based on their max. If you're in burst mode, you get the Summon Strike token. If you have the Summon Strike token already, deal 2 Summon Magic Lightning non-elemental attacks to all targets, and again restore a small amount of HP to all allies based on their max HP, and you lose the token. So basically, single target moderate heal, and you get the token. Then you're going to want to probably start spamming the second command here, 4 Summon Magic Lightning non-elemental attacks to one target. If you have the Summon Strike token, you'll be doing 5 attacks instead. So reasonably good lightning DPS when you combine that with the Imperil on the entry effect here. So in my experience with Yuna, I get about 4 burst command casts on her summoner-based BSB, the Tenets of the Faith. So you lead with burst command 1, use burst command 2 twice, and then finish with burst command 1 again. And that honestly is my strategy with Tenets of the Faith, so I would generally expect that to apply onto this relic as well here. I really like this BSB more than her first BSB. They are both Ramuh themed, but this one is a little bit more useful and powerful in my opinion. I'd love to draw this if I was pulling on this banner. So you're looking at a 1.27% chance roughly to pull this BSB here. Good luck to you. If you're going for Garnet stuff, I hope you get it. Next up here we have Legend Materia for Vivi. It's Vivi's hat. 38 magic, 125 resistance, 85 defense, and 27 mind. And small boost to fire damage, constant effect. Every relic on this banner has a constantly active bonus effect. Your Legend Materia is going to very similarly mimic Vivi's ability in the game, if you've ever played Final Fantasy IX, where it increases cast time, but you deal significantly more black magic damage. So in the Record Keeper realm, we're going to want to offset this with Hastega, or another Soul Break from a magic-based character that reduces the cast time of spells. Braska's Summoner's Dream is a good one, for example, or you have Creel's Beast Killer, I believe is the name of her Super Soul Break that gives the 3 turns of cast time reduction. So comboing Hastega with a cast time reduction effect will cancel out the increased cast time on this Legend Materia, but you'll still get the damage bonus. So honestly, if you properly plan to use this Legend Materia, it's actually quite good the damage buff will definitely help out, make Vivi more powerful. Of the two legend materia on this banner, I would say this one is the much more useful one, and you're sitting at about a 0.85% chance to pull it here. So hopefully you get that one if you're building Vivi. Next up, we have the legend materia relic for Beatrix here. Beatrix's plate, light armor, 17 attack, 114 defense and resistance, and small boost to holy damage yet again. So very awesome. Your legend materia here, undying loyalty, moderate chance to redirect physical damage taken by allies to the user and reduce the damage taken a small amount. This one actually does have some reasonable technical merit to it, but the burst command 1 on her BSB gives her draw fire as it is, so that really kind of downplays the effect of this LMR right here. If you happen to not have her BSB, or before you get a chance to use it, for example, this may have some sort of utilitarian purpose. But honestly, I think this one's actually quite weak, and you're going to want to be record diving Beatrix for her legend materia. Even without her BSB, you can just equip draw fire as an ability. I mean, this will free up an ability slot maybe, but it's only a moderate chance. The damage reduction on it is nice, but overall for legend materia, we're going to say that one is not ranked very good there. And it seems like you have about a 0.85% chance to draw Beatrix's LMR on this banner here. Next up, we have the Force Shield, so another Beatrix relic here. We're getting a lot of love for her on this banner, which I can't say that I'd be too upset about if I was drawn on this one here. So Shield, 17 attack, 133 defense, 89 resistance, and no mind on this relic, unfortunately. But again, we have a small boost to holy damage always in effect. So this banner has more than compensated for the lack of the effects on the first banner. The Super Soul Break, Sword of the Clear Mind, 6 physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to all targets, and temporarily infuse the user with the power of Holy Light. So this is the N Holy that will stack with her BSB to give the N Holy and Imperil between both Soul Breaks. A little bit less relevant if you have her OSB, because you can just BSB and keep recasting that, stack up the Knight abilities to lead into the OSB multiplier. So you might not really use this one too often. Really, the only merit or value to it is the Unholy. So again, it is a useful effect if you can manage to squeeze it in. You have the record materia that has her getting a lot of extra soul break gauge for getting beat up. You might be able to squeeze this one in, but again, like I said, if you have her BSB and her OSB, probably won't get too much a chance to see this one. And it looks like you have about a 2.54% chance to pull this one as it stands right now. Again, subject to change. And we have the Psych Shock Ragnarok Super Soul Break Sword for Beatrix yet again. That'll be her 4th item on this banner here. 125 attack sword, 68 mind on this one. No bonus effects whatsoever. And the Psych Shock, 8 physical attacks to 1 target and enable each ally to avoid 1 magic attack. You may see the light of day on this one in a heavy magic damage based situation where you're planning out dodging a really powerful spell. But again, if you have her BSB and her OSB, this one will almost never see the light of day. It would be a dupe for me, and I haven't really started building Beatrix yet. But magic blinks, you know, when you need them, they can be useful. So I wouldn't necessarily sleep on it, but again, the BSB OSB combo is what we're looking for Beatrix on this particular banner here, and it seems like you're hovering around a 3% chance to pull this one here, which I bet will drop over time a little bit, but I could see 2.5% on that SSB there. And we have another item for Kina here, the Golden Hairpin. 17 attack, 28 magic, 82 defense, 119 resistance, 27 mind, and again, the small boost to water damage. You have the Super Soul Break Frog Drop, deal 4 ranged physical attacks to all targets, and temporarily raise the attack of all allies a large amount. So this could be your Sid mission source of the Shout effect from Ramza, the large attack buff. Outside of that, the low attack count and no Hastega doesn't make it a really standout SSB effect. But again, like for Synergy and Sid missions, you will see some potential use on this one here. And with the small boost to water damage, still not fitting in the motif of either of her soul breaks here. So you are going to have to go out of your way a little bit to get the usefulness out of that water damage boost on both of her relics.
but I would objectively like to avoid her relics on this banner if I could. Like I said, if I could cherry pick on this banner, I'd be Vivi LMR and Beatrix's OSB and BSB, and as well Garnet's BSB too. Those would be the items that if I could have a godly draw and collect all of them in one draw, those would be the ones I'd want. And you look like 2.12% chance on the golden hairpin there. Last but not least, the fairy flute. Instrument, 73 attack, 100 magic, 120 mind, and no bonus effects. Super Soul Break actually is quite useful. Flames of Rebirth. Grant re-raise and restore a moderate amount of HP to all allies. Allies are raised with moderate HP. So again, you are going to want to plan around rebuffing your characters when they die. This is not the same as Last Stand. Last Stand actually prevents a character from dying. Re-raise, they die, then come back. So they will lose their buffs. So you do got to plan around rebuffing, you know, offensively and defensively so your characters don't just get wrecked again. With that in mind, if you plan the abilities out properly, you can get good usage of this. And for a Super Soul Break, the effects are pretty good. Eco is an amazing healer, great character, so it's just another good ability to give to her repertoire there. If you don't happen to have her USB or BSB, luckily I have her BSB, but I still wouldn't mind pulling this relic right here. And it looks like you have about an 0.85% chance of pulling the fairy flute there. That is the last item on the banner, so let's just go ahead and make a 100 gem draw. I am enjoying bankrolling all the mithril that I have so far. My Final Fantasy IX synergy is already kind of weak, so I'm just going to continue to save. Not going to do a heavy pull on this banner, but for Final Fantasy IX, if you're not looking for Zidane stuff and Vivi's BSB, I would recommend the second banner instead here. Unfortunately, we only came out with a 4-star, but again, hopefully that means our good luck is building for Summer Festival. The Final Fantasy VI event is going to be starting very soon as well, and then July 4th is going to be the Final Fantasy VII event with Cloud's USB. I'm going to continue to hold off a little bit longer. I do hope that if you guys are pulling for Beatrix or some LMR for Vivi here, whatever, what have you, you have great luck. As well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Relic Review. Definitely comment down below if you pulled on this banner. I want to hear what you got. Otherwise, just let me know what you're saving up for. Orbfest and the Daily Boss Rush are going to be starting around 5 p.m. Pacific time on the 20th, so get your strategies in a line for that. You can check out the Reddit for more information in detail on the bosses. This is Nazdarachi. Feel free to leave a like on the video if you enjoy the content, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and join the family. I'll catch you next time. Peace out, you guys. Have a good one.